Good evening, Shabbat Shalom. Hope everyone is well. We are reading passages from Avodat Hashem Inner Work, the teachings of Rav Ashlag, page 97. In its rectified state, all of humanity will be concerned with giving. In its rectified state, in the state of tikkun, all of humanity will be concerned with giving. Yeah, so in that state of tikkun, of complete healing and awakened beingness, all of humanity will be concerned with giving only, right? Because in that rectified state, we are full, we are complete, we are in union with the divine, we're not lacking any longer. And as we are actualized the state and the purpose of creation, we are in a state of constant giving because we're in a state of divine union and a state of divine service. And through our being in union and being in our own state of revelation, we are in a state of giving. We're full with the Spirit of God, and through being in that state, we are giving to humanity. We're concerned for humanity. We're giving to humanity, and we're in divine service. I found in the teachings of the Rebbe Zatzal, quote, "My teacher and father, through the great spiritual revelations that he revealed, revelations that I do not know if we are able to truly appreciate, simplified the path of attaining union with God," end quote. So the Rebbe is Rab Baruch, he is the son of Rav Ashlag, and he is quoted here saying that my teacher and father, Rabbi Huda Ashlag, the Bala Sulam, through the great spiritual revelations that he revealed through his teachings, right? The spiritual revelations that he revealed through his teachings and through his being. These revelations, I do not know if we are able to truly appreciate, right? That in our state, in this galut, in our limited state of consciousness, if we are able to truly appreciate the power and the profundity of these revelations, because what they have done is they've simplified the path to attaining union with God. That's one of the things that Rav Ashlag is most known for, is that he took these mystical, esoteric teachings of Kabbalah and he simplified them. He brought them down into a language that is more easily understandable, more graspable, more palatable for regular, everyday human beings. Whereas many of the teachings, let's say, of Isaac Luria are very complex, convoluted, almost, written in this cryptic language that is almost impossible to understand unless you're so deeply knowledgeable in the Torah and Kabbalah. But Rav Ashlag, he simplified things, and he's both praised and in certain circles he's criticized for doing such a thing, because he really simplified these teachings, brought them to this very simple, core, and profound teachings around giving and receiving. And his his son is saying that I don't think we really get to the profundity and can really truly appreciate how powerful these revelations are and how much they've simplified the path of attaining union with the divine. Suffering caused by the desire to receive urges us to fix our desire to receive. Suffering caused by the desire to receive urges us to fix our desire to receive. So the suffering caused by the desire to receive, the suffering caused when we don't get what we want, or we get what we want but then we're not fulfilled by it. We get what we want but then it dissipates and we're left hungry for more of that same thing. And it's like the desire to receive is like a hungry ghost. It can never be satisfied when it's hungering after physical or intellectual or emotional pleasures, right? So that suffering, it actually urges us. Underneath it, it urges us to fix our desire to receive. And actually, when we pay attention to it and we observe how we're suffering by it, it points us in the direction of, hey, this isn't really working out so well, right? Like, I hunger for something, I get it, and then I'm satisfied for a brief period, and then I'm hungry again, and I'm stuck in this loop, or I get what I want, but it's detrimental to my being, right? Like desire to receive alcohol, and I drink and I get drunk and then I feel sick after, or I take too many drugs and I feel sick after, or I chase something, I get it, but then I feel depleted after it. So all these forms of suffering that come from the desire to receive, underneath it is actually teaching us and urging us to fix that desire to receive and to focus it on more meaningful and spiritual aspirations, more aspirations that have within their potentiality an eternal result, right? So fixing our desire to receive, making a tikkun on it, repairing it, and turning it towards God and the divine, brings it towards something that has the potential to have a lasting fulfillment rather than a temporary or detrimental impact on us. The more we believe in God's greatness and feel God's greatness, the more we become disgusted with our selfishness, which separates us from God. Right? The more we have emunah, embodied faith in God's greatness, and the more through that, and through, like we were saying the other night, through thinking and contemplating about the awesomeness of creation, the awesomeness of existence, the awesomeness of this moment, and how profound the source of all of existence is, the creator of all of existence, the more we start to become disgusted with our own selfishness, the more we become disgusted with our desire to receive these physical pleasures, these material pleasures, because they separate us from God, right? Because desiring to receive for oneself, self-gratification, the act itself separates us from God. It gets us locked into separate self-consciousness to feed this body, to feed this ego, and that in itself directly separates us from the divine and separates us from unity consciousness, right? When we go after material pleasures in whatever form, we're basically eclipsing the light of God. We're saying, oh, these things, these are important. These are worth striving and seeking after. And in that movement, we forget God. We ignore the truth of God's presence. We ignore the truth of the power and the majesty of the divine, the magic of this moment, the magic of existence itself. And we're basically putting blinders onto that, and we're living in darkness, and that is separating us. It's separating us from God through that action. So the more we actually strive to believe in God's greatness, to have emunah in God's greatness and the magic of this existence, and the more we feel that, right, thought and feeling and belief, the more we become disgusted with the self-serving selfishness, and the more we cling towards being connected with God, loving ourselves as divine creatures, divine beings. Emunah means acting with regard to God as though God were revealed in the world, right? We've said this. This is a core teaching, right? Emunah, embodied faith, means acting with regard to God, acting with regard to life, acting with regard to each moment as though God were revealed to us in this moment. So if we're to contemplate what it would feel like to be in the presence of God, to have God's presence and unity revealed to us, how would we act? And so emunah is acting like that, even when, and especially when, we don't feel it. We don't feel the presence. We don't feel the revelation. The Rebbe Zatzal wrote that we need to focus. Excuse me. The Rebbe Zatzal wrote that we need to focus all our spiritual work and Torah and mitzvot and ask for payment for every single thing we do. What is the payment? We ask God for emunah in the importance and exaltedness of God, so that we can develop our desire to be pleasing to God. So the Rebbe, Rav Ashlag, the son of Rav Yehuda Ashlag, wrote that we need to focus all our spiritual work and Torah and mitzvot in the spiritual practice of healing and awakening, and ask for payment for every single thing we do. And it's kind of like a trick question. What do you mean we should ask for payment for doing spiritual practice? And the twist is that what is the payment? The payment is that we ask God for emunah. So we focus all our spiritual work and Torah and mitzvot on the spiritual path, and we ask that God gives us emunah for recognizing the importance and the exaltedness of God, so that we can develop and deepen, expand our desire to be pleasing to God. Right? So focusing on spiritual work and praying for emunah. Focus on the spiritual work and pray for a deepening of emunah, so that we are in recognition of, like we've been talking about, the exaltedness, the majesty, the magic, the profundity of God, and the awesomeness, the absolute awesomeness of every single moment of creation. That light of God is the recognition of the awesomeness of this moment, of creation, of existence, of our existence, recognizing how awesome it is, how magical, how profound it is to exist. And thus we desire to be in a state of service to God, of pleasing God, which is being in service to God in service of bringing greater and greater revelation of the presence of God and the purpose of creation and the magic of this existence and the light of God in the world and the abundance of unconditional love that is shining down upon us in every moment, filling us up as soon as we turn towards it, as soon as we open our hearts to receive the love of our own being, the love of being an extension of the divine, the blessing of having the karma to recognize the truth of reality, the truth of our own magical existence, and to be in service by shining that love out in a humble, grounded, and integrated way, in a kind and considerate way to other human beings. So take it in, breathe it in, and breathe it out. The beauty of this moment, Shabbat Shalom. May you be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow night.